Well, hello everybody and happy 2026. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we're already in the new year. And once again, we have a fantastic show for you. So we're really delighted that you're here. Hope you've got yourself a beverage so we can get started. Before we do though, I need to take a breath already. It's been such a crazy, wonderful new year. But it also means that there's stuff that's going to be happening in February, and our February show is going to start a week later than usual. So I'd like to start with saying Happy New Year. And then for February 17th, Happy Lunar New Year. And then the coldest night of the year, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, is coming up soon in February. And oh my, there's so much more. There's so much more. So grab yourself a beverage, make yourself at home, be comfortable, and let's start the show, shall we?
I'm sitting on the edge of love and happiness. Never experienced such a moment as this. So if you got that good feeling in your body and you want to bring this moment to life, come with me, we'll hit the town. Let's go right now and live the life. I just want to shine like the sky up like a sunset, living with no regrets. I just want to shine.
Hello, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin Wagner, and I am joined today by a familiar face, Morgan Carey. He was with us a couple of months ago, and he's back today. Morgan, thanks very much for joining us.
I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
You were sharing with us a story back in November, and I think we're going to kind of follow up with that story a little bit. Let's revisit that. Tell us a little bit about that story, the people that might not have seen it a couple of months ago.
Yeah, sure. So I was here with my wonderful friend Rita from Volunteer Nanaimo, and we were promoting the Christmas Angels, which is a charity that's near and dear to our heart. And all charities are special to us, but they're extra special because of my wife Carly, who really is the heart of all of our business, and she's the head of our charitable giving. And I had shared that my wife got sick at the beginning of the year. We were on a trip to Japan, and we ended up in the emergency. And it turns out she got cancer, and it wasn't one of the good kinds.
Yeah.
And so when she woke up, she said to me, I want to have more dinners on Sunday with the families, and I want to figure out a way to give back more. And so I said, yeah, whatever you need. I didn't think she was going to make it out of that hospital. Mm-hmm. And so unfortunately, she was diagnosed initially with a cancer called mantle cell lymphoma. She was stage 4. She is stage 4. And then we got the news that that's not the kind of cancer that goes away. It does go away for a period. It goes into remission. It always comes back. And unfortunately, as of today, it's always fatal. And so that was hard news.
Absolutely, very challenging news. I love the sentiment that you share, that when Carly says she wants more Sunday dinners and she wants to give back, it's just such a beautiful sentiment under circumstances like that. But
yeah. So we went on this journey, of course. Crazy thing, not her first time with cancer. When she was 18, she had Hodgkin's lymphoma as well. And at the time, she had a single mom, and they had to drive back and forth from Victoria. Just a really, really hard time for a young kid and a single mom. So not her first cancer rodeo, I guess. Mm-hmm. So we went in, we got into this clinical trial, and we were supposed to have to go to Vancouver for this clinical trial, and we talked about how hard that must be. Like, it was going to be hard for us, but we're a family of means. We can afford to do it.
Sure.
And we talked about just how hard it must be for people to have to make a choice if they got into, say, a clinical trial. If they couldn't afford to take a ferry and stay over, they would have to turn down treatment.
Yeah.
And it's just a horrible realization. And then unfortunately, we got worse news when she started the trial. In a bone marrow biopsy, they discovered a second cancer. We didn't have to do the trial. We didn't have to go to Vancouver. And so we tried to make the best of our 15 minutes to and from the heaviest chemo you can possibly get. And she constantly talked about how lucky we were to be close to home, how lucky we were for her to be able to just go back to bed in her own bed with with our pets and our family and everything, and to be around family. And then she ended up interacting with this other gentleman who was in treatment, and he was telling her how he was going to turn down treatment because he could not afford to come from where he needed to come from. I can't remember if it was Port Alberni or somewhere where you have to travel quite far to get treatment. And so his choices were no choice at all. He couldn't afford to come. And so he had to turn down treatment, which means he was guaranteeing himself a death sentence.
Right.
And that's just, it's mortifying. It's horrible. It's just a situation that so many people face. And it's a situation that, she had to interact with as well when she was younger and having to deal with cancer, right? They had to drive back and forth every single day.
Which I think is what leads you to kind of what we're...
Exactly,
this very positive thing coming out of this incredibly challenging reality.
Yeah, so we can't change the reality. We cannot change what's going to happen, but we can choose how we face it every day with joy and intention. And we can choose to honor her wishes in terms of what she wants to do with the rest of her life, and that's support charity and give back. And so, crazy coincidence, my friend Jeff, who I work with and is a 30-year friend of mine, he said, we need to sell my mom's home. And I said, I'll buy it. Right. And, we own we're in real estate and we own a lot of rental properties. And at first I just thought we're just going to buy another rental property, fix it up. And I went there and it was already completely accessible. It had a ramp, it had, bars, all this sort of stuff. And I just got this idea. I said, you know what, we could do what they do in bigger cities like the Ronald McDonald House.
Yep.
We could do something with this. And so I came up with the idea of Carly's House. And what that is it's a place for Carly's mom 30 years ago. It's a place for that gentleman who couldn't get treatment because he couldn't afford to stay somewhere to be able to come and stay and be warm and safe and not worry about money or food or anything like that. It's a place where you can bring your family and your family can stay with you. So.
And you talk about Carly's vision, Sunday dinners, but giving back. What a way to be giving back to people that might be experiencing the exact same thing that you, Carly, and your family are going through.
You'll imagine being able to have Sunday dinner right before treatment, because treatments often start on Mondays. And I've never thought about that sentiment before, but it's a lovely tie-in now that I think about it.
It's such a wonderful initiative that you guys are spearheading. I know you're getting support from the community. There's other ways the community can be lending support. Why don't we give people a chance to understand maybe how they can contribute or be helping you with this endeavor, which is just so important. It's just a beautiful spirited thing.
Everyone loves Carly. That's the thing, right? She's a perfect ambassador for charities. And so when we told the story, or we started sharing the story, vendors came out in droves. Our friend Dave from Norm's Plumbing, Susan from IM Millworks, etc. They all said whatever we can do to help. And so we actually have several $100,000 worth of pledges already to help renovate this space from local business leaders who are community minded, who want to give back. And I was actually talking to someone from the show earlier, and she mentioned how her life has been touched by cancer, and so many people's have. And so the wonderful news we have to share is we've signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nanaimo Hospital Foundation. So while we're not an official not-for-profit, they are actually able to partner with us. They can take donations. 100% of the donations go towards the operations of Carly's House. And so any vendors who want to get recognized for being great at giving back to the community, any vendors who can help. And we've already got roofing covered. We've already got we've got so much covered, but there's about $200,000 more we need to raise to complete the renovation. And so that's the Nanaimo Hospital Foundation. Drop down Carly's House and you can donate there. Or if you're a vendor in the space and you want to help with the project, we'll take any and all help we can get.
Absolutely, and it would be a great way to be contributing to what you and Carly have been spearheading here. We're aiming for maybe mid-year. Maybe Carly's House will be up and running kind of middle of the year.
Yeah, so we purchased it. Yeah, we purchased it ourselves. We wrote the first check for $500,000 just personally from our family, and we have almost all of the funding raised already. We need a few $100,000 more, and we think about 6 months we should be able to welcome the first families.
That's wonderful. Morgan, it's a beautiful initiative that you and Carly, it's so great. Thank you so much for coming and spending the time. I encourage our viewers to reach out, like you said. Click, scroll down, Carly's House. There's ways to contribute. So thank you for sharing that story once again, and again, the initiative you're bringing to the community.
Thank you.
We've been speaking with Morgan Carey, and I'm sending it over now to Jeremy.
Thanks, Kevin. As you all know, Nanaimo is growing every single day, and it's becoming quite the hotbed for arts. We're going to talk about both the WIN Awards and a new artistic opportunity coming up in Nanaimo. We've got Celeste Walmsley today from Touched by Music. Hi, Celeste. Welcome in.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Celeste, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're a musician, but tell me more.
I basically, with music, I've been a performer, singer-songwriter for many years, and was a professional performer when I lived on the mainland. Moved to the island about 13 years ago, and have just kind of rekindled my songwriting, and really embraced that the past couple of years now.
I understand you've got 2 big songs coming out at the WIN Awards coming up.
I do.
The WIN Awards, as most of our guests know, are either just about to happen or just happened, depending on when you're watching this. So maybe someone has seen your songs.
Yes, well, I mean, hopefully they like them.
Tell me about them.
Well, one is specifically coined Women of Influence. So the WIN Awards being Women of Influence. When I was speaking to Blaze, the director and the organizer of the whole event, we had looked at one song I've written that was called I Own My Greatness. So it's just obviously about owning what is best about you and what you want to present to the world and presenting it with pride and owning it not as, with any guilt. And so, but we were speaking and I said, do you want one for the event? Because I've been now twice and felt like I knew the essence of the event, right? So the awards. And so she said, sure. So I wrote it in literally about 5 minutes. I was so inspired to write the song. So I'm really excited to have them. They're going to be showcased, or they have been showcased at the awards this year. So it's pretty exciting.
Tell me more about Touched by Music, Celeste. So do you write songs for any type of an event, and can anyone just hire you?
I do, actually. Honestly, I think if you want a song for anything, I could write it, which is kind of funny. But I mean, I've written a song for the awards, for a podcast. One was considered for a play, a local play, and I mean, unfortunately, 2025 was a bit rough for myself. I had 3 family members pass away, and both of my pets did, but they were 15 and 16. But I was really inspired by those moments to write songs, and especially for I've lost 2 brother-in-laws, and having those songs now when I play them, it reminds me of them, and I remember them. So I love the opportunity to give that to other people, where a loved one can be remembered.
So people are able to commission like a memorial song from you for a departed family member?
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about your process. Like if I wanted to commission a memorial song, or maybe a love song, if I've just started dating someone and want to splash it big, what is the process? What would I do if I reached out to you?
Basically, we'll have a consultation, because let's say it's for a loved one. I want to know about them. So tell me about their life. Tell me, even if it was trials and tribulations, like it's who were they? And usually what I do is I write it in the style of the person who has passed, like their style of music. So for an example, my brother-in-law who passed away loved rock music. And so at his celebration of life, I was a little bit torn. I thought, oh gosh, like, do I do a rock song? And it went over, like people were like, wow, it is so him. So I take the time to get to know the person, so that really when that song is played, people go, oh, that is so that person. So it doesn't necessarily even have to be like about their full life, but they just, once it's played, you go, oh, that's so, like in my case, that was so Mike. So I had a senior aunt that I thought, it might be a little bit uptight about the song. She goes, can I have a copy, please? Because it's him, like it's exactly him. So I feel I have a gift to really ask the questions, to really get to the essence of the person. Perfect. And because of my extensive musical background, I'm able to take that and then sort of convert it into music, into a song for them to have for the rest of their life. So,
Celeste, thanks for sharing Touched by Music with us. We've got all your information down on the bottom of the screen right now, so if anybody's interested in commissioning a song or wants to reach out and tell you how they experienced the songs at the WIN Awards, the information's just below. We're in a rush, so we're gonna have to toss it over to Kathy. Over to you, Kathy.
Well, I hope that you have been enjoying the show so far. I really, really love it when we have very heartfelt guests that are doing incredibly great things in our community. And so I have another heartfelt person sitting across from me who's not only one of our team, but is the is the angel upon angels in our community at Christmas time and all year long. Please help me welcome Rita Innamorati. Hi, Rita. How are you, my darling girl?
Great, Kathy.
Great. We had a pretty spectacular holiday season, didn't we?
We did. Very busy.
Yeah. Tell us all about what happened with Christmas Angels, because I think that we owe our community a huge, huge amount of gratitude for the incredible gifts that they provided. Tell us a little bit about how it turned out this year.
It was absolutely amazing. We did over 1,600 hampers, like individuals this year, which was about the same as last year. I think we were pretty close to last year, a little bit more, but not a lot. Over 600 households in Nanaimo that we were able to positively affect. And just, people, as tough as things are, and we hear about it all the time, certainly, and so many things, really, that people are affected by, hard times abounding, they still show up every year. They still, lots of new angels. Actually, this year we had a lot of new angels. We had about 100 new angels this year, which was absolutely crazy because you don't really realize it until it's all over and you're sort of looking at the numbers to see that kind of thing. And they were just spectacular. I mean, the hampers this year that came in were unbelievable, even for us. And this was our 18th year. Yeah. And it just, every year, I start the season thinking, oh my God, there's so much need, there's so much going on, are we gonna do it? And every year, again, Christmas Eve day, there we are delivering. So I had an amazing team of volunteers. We had a fabulous spot at Country Club this year. And so we were able to have a lot of volunteers helping. So it went so much more smoothly than it has in years past. And we're just very, very grateful to everyone in the community that helped us out.
Well, I'm really, really glad that we can be a part of it in this community, doing the things that we're doing. And I just want everyone to know that as a person who was once a recipient of something so terrific as a Christmas Angel, the impact of it is extraordinary. So thank you so much, Rita. Thank you, Volunteer Nanaimo, and thank you to our community for all that you did to contribute to it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Kathy. This has just been such a great show, and I'm so happy I have Violet Hayes with me today, and we're going to be talking about the Coldest Night of the Year fundraising walk. Welcome, Violet.
Thanks, Teresa. It's great to be here.
You are the Executive Director of Island Crisis Care Society, and that is one of the big beneficiaries of the Coldest Night of the Year.
Yes, we actually have been holding the walk for 15 years in Nanaimo and 12 years in Oceanside.
That's a long time.
Yes.
I'm so happy that I can say that this is going to be my 11th year as a participant and leading a team.
Wonderful. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great fundraiser. How successful has it been for us here in Oceanside and Nanaimo?
Oh, very successful. It's our biggest fundraiser and has been, ever since we've been running it. And the exciting thing for me is that all across Canada on February the 28th, people will be walking to support the hurting and the homeless. And the money raised stays in the local communities. And so it just, for us at Island Crisis Care, it gives us the opportunity to do those extra things. We talk about community impact. And what it does is, those little things that we're not able to do with regular funding, or we might not get the grant that we need. And then this just gives us that pocket of money that we can do those extra things with.
It's amazing how little things can make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually walking this year for the first time with 3 of my grandchildren.
Oh, nice.
So it really is a family event.
Yeah, it is. It is. How many people do participate here in the Oceanside, Nanaimo area and across Canada? It's huge.
Yeah, in Nanaimo and in Oceanside, we have probably 200, 250 people in each location, I would say. It's very interesting to see everyone come together, and then we can either do a 2-kilometer or a 5-kilometer walk, and then we come back to, in both places actually, we start and end at a church, and then people come in and they have a bowl of soup soup or a bowl of chili. And it's supposed to be giving people a feeling of what it's like to come in from the cold, as many of our clients do, and then receive that gift of a bowl of soup to warm them up. And just to help them understand, we have a home to go home to and can warm up and have a hot shower. But for so many in our communities, they don't have that opportunity.
We're very lucky here too on the island, is that the coldest night of the year isn't all that cold for us. I can imagine in Winnipeg and there's some other places where it's darn cold.
Yes, I remember a couple of years when we've had snow, and that's really made a difference. But yeah, it's not been too bad for us. And sometimes we see all the flowers as we're walking, so we're blessed.
Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. How can people get involved?
Get some friends together, start a team, just as you've done. You go online, cnoy.org, and you just look up the location, either Nanaimo or Oceanside, and you just start your team, or you can join a team. So the way it works is that you raise money, and you do it all through emails, and you just send emails to your friends. They sign up to donate to you online, and they get their tax receipt right away.
Wow. And February 28th?
February 28th.
We want to see a lot of people, hundreds, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We're getting up to hundreds here in Nanaimo and Oceanside, and we certainly want that to continue. This is an amazing cause. And I just want to make sure we get in a word for the sponsors. There's so many companies here, community sponsors too.
Yes, absolutely. And our goal for this year is $125,000 in each location. So if a company wants to sponsor, that's a great way to get involved as well, so that we can support them by putting up their name and letting people know to support that company.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Violet. Thank you for being part of the community, and thank you so much for coming and speaking to us about this wonderful fundraising walk.
It's my privilege. Thanks, Teresa.
All right, Rita, you're up.
Thank you, Teresa. I'd like to introduce my guest, Dennis Larabee. He is a workplace mental health consultant from Training Globally. Welcome, Dennis.
Well, thanks for having me here, Rita.
No problem. Can you tell us a little bit about what Training Globally is?
Sure. It's actually a company that will go into the workplace and provide mental health training to a lot of staff, support the employer in the workplace as well.
Super. Well, it's mostly around mental health, so that is certainly a growing concern in British Columbia. So how does Training Globally go in and help them to navigate those kinds of issues?
Well, I think the thing is that usually, like myself, will go in, I'll talk to an employer and find out exactly what's happening. So, and really listen to the employer and see what their staff needs. Maybe that's how do they navigate through some stresses, in the workplace, maybe irate customers, how that is happening. And through that process, we're able to carve out a specific type of training, mental health training, for that individual company.
Great. So it's not really a one package fits all. You actually go in, you take the time to get to know what's happening, and you really gear your presentation on that particular company's issues, whatever they're having.
Right, exactly.
And do you think that by having someone come in from Training Globally to discuss that, to sort of open up the fact that, mental health issues are not the worst thing in the world? I mean, people have a really hard time even admitting to mental health issues. So having you there, do you think that sort of opens up the conversation more for people that are in need of that kind of support?
Yeah, it really does. And I think the stigma around mental health, it's really, the more communication that you have in the workplace around it, the more comfortable people become. And I think that's usually a work in progress. Generally speaking, talking about mental health can be very uncomfortable for a lot of people. So I think having it within the staff to be able to discuss, and again, navigating through maybe some of the stresses that might be causing some mental health issues is really important, is to give them the skills and able to do that.
So is this a group session thing do you do, or do you actually go in and speak to people individually, or is this like a group session, just sort of an overall?
It's a group. Yeah, exactly. It's a group session. And so usually I'll go in, speak to the group, provide about an hour's worth of mental health training. And it's really about, again, them having some skills to even handle their own mental health, especially through stressful times.
So for employers, possibly supervisors who are listening right now, and they're thinking, we need to do better at this within our own workplace, what would you suggest to them?
Well, I would say you're not alone. So don't feel like you're alone and don't know what to do. You can definitely call Training Globally, and we'll come and we'll have a chat. Open those lines of communication to support you, your business, and all the individuals you work with.
And you have a website that they would go to, or is there somehow that they'd be able to contact you?
Yeah, so the website is www.trainingglobally.ca, or you can give us a call at 778-960-0305.
Well, that's great. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, Dennis. And over to you, Kathy.
Well, does it for another episode of Act 3. This part of the day always makes me sad because we always want to give you more. And so we hope that you will keep tuning in and watching our program. A couple things for you that I just want to remind you of. And I don't want to get all emotional and all of that stuff, but let's face it, there was some pretty moving stuff on the show tonight. We know that a lot of people are struggling with cancer. We know a lot of people are struggling with mental health. And we know a lot of people are struggling with poverty, unhoused, mental health addiction, all kinds of stuff. And so what I'm asking you to do for me as we begin the new year and as we start the festivities of a Lunar New Year is I'd like you just to be kind. If we can remember to be kind in all of our actions, you don't need to beat behind somebody when you're at the green light because it went green before you were looked up from whatever you were looking at. Be patient. You don't need to beep or bang or cause a bunch of fuss when we're in all these different places. Let's all put ourselves in check, even when we really feel like we're a little temperamental in the moment. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on in someone else's life. We don't have a clue what's going on in their world that day. And I know for myself, I have been blessed beyond compare when I know how many people that I've also lost over the years. So if I've lost them, chances are you probably have too. And so I invite you to have an amazing month ahead. Look forward to seeing you. We're going to be taping a little bit later, as I mentioned before. And in the meantime, have a wonderful, wonderful, and beautiful beginning of 2026. Thanks again for tuning into Act 3. See you next time.